hate to break it to you, but you might be giving your clients a junk drawer. This is my junk drawer. Well, more like my junk garage. Every time I find something useful, I put it in here. It's got everything: charging cables, shopping bags, pens, nuts, bolts, tools, but it has no structure. So often I forget what I've put in here, as you can see by the multiple copies of things. And if I leave it long enough, it gets so full that even just stepping into it can feel overwhelming. The solopreneurs and subject matter experts that I work with are really good at what they do. They want to give their clients everything they need. They create information packs that are bursting with information, and they send so many email attachments, which is great. But without structure, this becomes overwhelming for your client. And if you leave it like that for long enough, it becomes a thing that they actively avoid opening. I know you. I've worked with dedicated professionals like you my whole professional life. I know about all the things you create to help your clients get their desired transformation. I know about all the files, the pictures, the diagrams, the videos. The things you create in your spare time because you think it might be the missing link for even just one of your clients. I know how frustrating it is when these resources don't magically help your clients turn their lives around. We all know that change is hard, that the only way you deal with your health issues, treat injury, improve your mental health, or build your business is step by step. It is this repetition and the subtle but powerful iterative building process that really changes lives. And the biggest obstacle to repetition is overwhelm. All those resources you give your clients are useful and they will need them, but maybe not right now. Like the stuff in the junk drawer, they are often there just in case. But just in case is the mother of someday and maybe. Just in case is the enemy of right now. Instead of a junk drawer, the resources you give your clients should be the Ikea instructions. Ikea instructions have nothing, absolutely nothing there just in case. The outcome is clear: build the Billy bookcase, and everything builds towards that outcome. The steps are clearly defined. Each step has instructions and a little nook that contains everything you need to complete that step. It is manageable because it is confined. It stands alone. It is concrete. It is finite. And sure, there may be some tools that we're going to use in multiple steps. This tool, for example, or these wing nuts. But when I'm building the bookcase, I'm not worried about that. I trust the designer, and I know that if I need these nuts again, for example, in step 9, they will be there waiting for me. It frees up my mental space so that I can enjoy and complete the step that I am currently on. In the process of turning the junk drawer of your resources into a beautiful set of IKEA instructions, sharing online is a really powerful tool. In a one-to-one in-person session, you can do a bunch of really cool things with your clients. Sure, you probably spend a fair chunk of time transmitting knowledge, but the interesting stuff is all the time you spend demonstrating exercises and correcting your clients when they're doing the wrong thing. The time you spend having a chat about their week, what went well, and what made a positive impact on how they live their lives. And also which strategies ended up being a dumpster fire that made them feel like they suck. In a live session, you can amplify the good that your client is doing and help to mitigate the bad. To continue the IKEA analogy, you, as the expert, have built the Billy bookcase 1,000 times. You could build the bookcase in your sleep. You don't need instructions. You don't need to follow the steps in a strict order. And if you find a piece of the bookcase randomly lying around. You know exactly what it's meant to do and what tool to use to get the desired outcome. A one-on-one session is a bit like building this Billy bookcase with your client. You're handing them the spanner and directing them to do the right thing. But what happens once they leave your session? When they have to build the Billy bookcase at home? It doesn't matter if they do the exercises perfectly when you're with them, but then do nothing in between sessions. It doesn't matter if they theoretically understand the difference between helpful and unhelpful behaviors, if they're unable to practically engage in their helpful behaviors without your direct support. So how can you support your clients in doing the things they need to do where it actually matters, in the rest of their lives when you're not there? This is where your resources come in. They give your clients the Ikea tools and information they need to be able to do the next step of the bigger project. And let me be clear here, the bigger project is changing their lives. One habit, movement pattern, nutrition plan, and limiting belief at a time. Before we continue, I just want to provide 2 examples of resources that professionals may want to provide their clients. A friend and colleague of mine organizes a popular running program where he takes newbie runners and, over 10 weeks, provides the structure and coaching they need to be able to complete their first 10-kilometer time trial. When running these sessions live, the biggest value is in the community of supportive fellow runners. When we were trying to decide what he should provide runners with for when he wasn't there, the structure ended up being fairly straightforward. The content was structured to follow the 10-week timeline, and every day included the stuff you had to do: the run-walk intervals, the strength program, the post-run reflection. But we got everyone in the community spirit by providing advice from previous participants. The second example, a dietitian I worked with, we had a different problem. She had a lot of content that she had created for online use during the pandemic, but no matter how much information she gave people, she realized that what they were always asking for was recipes. So after giving them the basic information on nutrition, we focused on getting her clients to apply these principles. We created an online game where clients could add the ingredients of a smoothie into a blender to get a sense of the different components of a smoothie. We provided simple equations for creating satisfying salads that clients could print out and put on the fridge, and a range of spices and seasoning that you could add to anything to give it the flavor profile of your choice. All of this accumulated in advice for grocery shopping and an editable shopping list. When sharing your content, online options are really cool. You can choose to provide your content through drip content, so like little bits of content that get sent in drips and drabs as and when your client needs it. You can create giant content libraries where your clients can easily browse, search, and get what they need. And you can set up interactive ways of learning, either by mimicking the stuff you do in a live session, things like demonstrating, chatting, giving feedback, or by making learning low stakes and motivating by using interactive multimedia elements. When I work with clients like you, we don't spend our time in the way that you might think. I call this the IKEA instruction framework, and you can download the DIY version by following the link in the description. I highly recommend giving it a try. You might be surprised by what you can already help your clients build. The first thing to do is to decide what you want the client to build. You do this by thinking of the client's goals. In the running example, we are building the community that provides support, accountability, and motivation to complete the difficult task of running your first 10K. In the dietitian example, we are building a set of skills needed to create your own appetizing, dietitian-approved meals, from store to stove. Once we know what we want to build, find a quick win. While researching this video, I learned that Ikea plans their manuals to allow the customer to see early success, which then motivates them to continue engaging with the bookcase. When building a chest of drawers, for example, Ikea will leave the tricky bit, the installation of the sliding mechanism, for last. First, they get builders to do an easy thing: screw the handles onto the drawers. Translating this to a learning environment means structuring content so that your clients can achieve a quick win or two, building confidence and motivation to continue. Next, we can start to think about the exhaustive list of steps needed for building this thing. Ikea purposefully isolates each step because they want to encourage mindfulness and focus. Clients should complete one task at a time to avoid confusion and errors. Similarly, learning content should be segmented into discrete, manageable steps or concepts that build into the final outcome. It helps if this content is clear. Ikea actually has a whole department that is responsible for meticulous testing to make sure that their instructions are clear and useful. Their instruction manual process is considered done when a random person in their focus group can build the product using only the instruction manual provided, which ensures that each step is understandable and actionable. When we have a clear list of steps, we look at what the client needs at each step in order to build towards the goal. Just as Ikea lists and provides every tool and part needed for assembly, you, as a course creator, should clearly outline and provide the resources, tools, and materials your clients will need for each step. This clarity sets learners up for success from the start. It is only once we know what we are building and what tools and instructions we need for each step that we then go to the junk drawer, the place where professionals keep client-facing resources. From the wide array of content that you have built up over a professional lifetime, we only select the resources that are useful to building this thing, the client goal we identified. And then, at each step, we only provide the tools and instructions they need right now. But what if you are too overwhelmed by all the things in your junk drawer to even get started? Have a look at the brainstorming strategy for course creators I have described in this video.